Today, we're going to connect three things that sound like they have absolutely nothing to do with each other. The engine that powers modern AI, the super secure labs of biotech companies, and, believe it or not, a simple cartoon. It's a journey that shows us not just how AI works, but why explaining it all is more important than ever.
So yeah, it sounds like the start of a bad joke, right? But stick with me, because the answer actually ties together some of the biggest ideas in AI today. You'll see exactly how it all connects.
All right, first things first, let's pop the hood. The engine that drives pretty much every large language model you've ever heard of is built on this really revolutionary architecture called the transformer.
You know, for the longest time, this was the big puzzle. How do you get a computer to actually understand the relationships between words in a sentence, especially when they're not even next to each other? Well, the answer turned out to be this one, single, incredibly elegant idea.
And this is the secret sauce. It's called self-attention. Instead of just reading a sentence left to right, this lets the model look at all the words at once. It's basically building this complex web of connections between them to figure out what the sentence really means.
Okay, so that sounds cool in theory, but what does it actually do? Let's take a look at a great example from Jay Alamar's breakdown of the transformer. To you and me, this sentence is super simple, but for a machine, oh, there's a serious ambiguity hiding in there.
Exactly. What does it refer to? The street or the animal? We know the answer in a split second. Our brains just get it. But an algorithm, it needs a way to calculate that connection.
And this is where the magic happens. As the model is processing the word it, that self-attention mechanism lights up a powerful connection straight back to the word animal. It's like the AI is telling itself, aha, that's what we're talking about. This is how genuine context gets baked right into the model's understanding.
So, we have this incredible, powerful engine. But you know what? A Ferrari engine is pretty useless if you fill the tank with water. You need the right fuel. For AI, that fuel has to be factual and totally trustworthy.
And this is a huge problem in the AI world. You've probably heard the term hallucination. It's when an AI just makes stuff up. And the crazy thing is, it sounds completely plausible. As NVIDIA points out, this is a massive risk, especially when the stakes are really high.
The solution to this is a clever technique called Retrieval Augmented Generation, or RAG. The best way to think about it is like giving the AI a library card to a very specific, trusted library, and you give it one strict rule. Before you say anything, you have to go to this library, find the relevant facts, and base your answer only on what you find there.
And the process itself is actually pretty straightforward. First, you build that library, your knowledge base, with documents you trust. Then, when a user asks a question, the system first retrieves the most relevant snippets from that library. Only then does it hand those verified facts to the AI to generate an answer, which keeps the whole thing grounded in reality.
Okay, so let's combine these two powerful ideas. We've got the smart transformer engine, and we've got RAG to keep it honest. Now let's see what happens when we put them to work in one of the most demanding environments out there, a private biotech lab.
I mean, just think about it for a second. Biotech companies are dealing with sensitive patient data, top-secret research, and intellectual property that's worth billions. You can't just send that kind of information to a public cloud AI. The security risks are just way too high. You have to bring the AI in-house.
And this is exactly why biotech firms are building their own private AI systems. It really comes down to three big reasons. First, data privacy, to comply with laws like HIPAA. Second, protecting their intellectual property. That's the crown jewels. And third, it's about controlling costs over the long run, especially if they're using it constantly.
This table lays out the trade-offs perfectly. If you run your AI on-premise, meaning in your own building, you have full control over your data and compliance audits get a lot simpler. Yeah, the upfront cost is high, but it can be cheaper in the long run. On the other hand, using a cloud API is cheap to get started, but it means you have to trust an outside company with your most sensitive data.
But here's something that might surprise you. It's not just about privacy. This is a really critical point. It's also about performance. The data from Intuition Labs shows that specialized models, like say a PharmaGPT, trained only on pharmaceutical data, actually outperform the big general models on specific industry tasks. It's about having the right tool for the job.
Okay, so imagine you've done it. You've built this powerful, specialized private AI system. Now what? How do you explain its value to executives, to investors, to regulators? This brings us to the final piece of our puzzle.
This quote just nails it.
To bridge that gap between the deep technical stuff and the people who need to understand it, companies turn to things like simple animations and clear visuals. It's all about making the complex simple.
And if you're wondering how much this matters, just look at the money. The video advertising market is projected to hit over $191 billion this year. That is a massive investment in one core idea: communicating clearly and visually.
And according to the folks at Explainer Mojo, the playbook for doing this well is surprisingly simple. It really just comes down to a few key steps. Plan your story, simplify the message, balance your visuals with your words, keep your branding consistent, and always highlight what makes you unique.
And that brings us right back to our riddle. What do brain surgery, a library, and a cartoon have in common? Well, now we know. The brain surgery represents the high-stakes precision of biotech. The library is the grounded, fact-checked knowledge that RAG provides, and the cartoon? That's our very human ability to simplify and communicate. As AI gets more and more powerful, maybe our most valuable skill of all will be telling clear, compelling stories about what it all means.